All right, gang, going into new computer art and animation tutorial today. And what we're going to get into is trying to create a Troy Brown inspired animation. And Troy creates these really cool, kind of distorted cubism like looking character animations and different character designs and things like that, and collage, kind of like these collage pieces. And so, kind of using his work as inspiration for this, and he creates work similar to what I've got going on here with this Steph Curry animation. And so that's what we're going to be getting into, is kind of using his artwork as inspiration and creating some interesting little GIF animations from a person in action or maybe a person that's showing emotions. All right, so I'm going to close out this preview window, jump over here to Pixlr, and continue working on a document I've already got some prep done for. So you want to start by choosing a person that's either in action or showing emotion for this, so you can add some movement to it and really accentuate that, right? So I took this picture here of Aaron Judge, and I took out the background, and I've got that all cleaned up, ready to go. So that's going to be the first thing. Find somebody and clean out the background, right? Next thing I'm going to do is choose a background color. So I'm going to click on this blank layer I have below here, and I'm going to choose my fill bucket and try to choose kind of like a bright color for the background. We don't want to do something too muted. I was kind of thinking about doing like kind of like a teal greenish type color, something like that, and filling the background space around them. Now, next what we're going to do is click on your image layer of whoever you're doing this with. We're going to choose our polygon lasso from our lasso tool here. Keep your feather on 0, and what we're going to do is go ahead and start to select, copy and paste different elements of your figure. So if I click once, it puts down a point. I'm going to kind of like accentuate and make his foot and this part of his leg bigger. So I don't have to go precisely around it. I just want to make sure I get everywhere around it. And then once I click back on my starting point here, it will select this area. I'm going to hit Command C or Control C if you are on a Windows keyboard, and then do a Command V or a paste. And so now I'll take this piece that I copied and pasted, kind of line it up about where it's supposed to go, and then I'm going to use my Free Distort tool. So Free Distort allows me to kind of like stretch and pull and make something distorted. And so I want to really like accentuate like the action of his back foot like being planted into the ground. And so I'm still trying to like get these lines to sort of line up correctly with the original leg. They don't have to line up perfectly, but I'm still kind of trying to see if I can get those to link up pretty well. So maybe I'll move this knee kind of part in just a little bit, but that's okay if it doesn't quite line up perfectly. I just want to exaggerate or accentuate the different parts of the body a little bit. And so that works pretty good. I can maybe shift it over so it's just a little more centered, but I'm trying to hide the original part behind it. So maybe just putting it up a little bit. That still looks good. Even though that knee pokes out a little bit, it's fine. These are supposed to be abstract or cubist kind of looking characters. So again, I'll kind of do the same thing with the other leg. I do notice I'm on the wrong layer right now, but I want to click on my original photo layer, do a copy and a paste, and again, I'm going to just move this leg back into place, and then go back to Edit and Free Distort, and going to kind of pull and play with the positioning of this foot, where maybe I'll bring the heel back so that's a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll bring the toe forward. And again, it doesn't have to line up perfectly. We just want to really exaggerate or accentuate different body parts. All right, so I've done some work with the feet. Maybe I'll make this bat really huge. I would shoot for doing at least 5 different areas or sections of your photo, but you could certainly do more than that. Let's see, let's go. I'm first going to go to copy and paste. Now you could just do this with the image itself too. You don't necessarily have to copy and paste them, but what I want to do is add animation to each one of these parts. So if you don't do the copy and pasting part to make the new piece on top of the original image that you're looking at, you're not going to be able to add animation to it, right? Now this is actually why it looks really good. So in order to add animation to each of these pieces, they need to be on their own layer. If I just distort this original image, I can't add animation to all my pieces, right? So I've done 3 pieces so far. I'm going to do 2 more because that's what I think is the right number or so that we want to have done here. And maybe I'll go for next, like maybe the helmet. Maybe I'll just try and like enlarge that or distort it in some way. Edit, transform. Oh wait, so see, I didn't do the copy paste. Copy paste, move this back into place with my selection arrow, and then I'll edit and free distort it. And let's see, maybe I'll just blow this helmet up on the top side and just make it kind of giant. So it'll be like wearing a helmet that's way too big. He's got a big head. I mean, he can hit home runs. So let's give him a big old helmet here just to exaggerate it, right? We're just having a little fun with this figure, with this character that we're kind of developing here, right? So this is pretty good. I wanted to do 5, so I'm going to do 1 more, and I'm actually just going to take his numbers and play with that for this one. So I'm just going to put a selection area around the numbers, do another copy paste. Although I don't think I had the original image layer selected, so I need to do that 1 more time. Copy paste, there it goes. And I'll place this back into place. Maybe do a little bit of free distorting with this too, you know, just to enlarge the numbers, maybe make them even, you know, bigger than they should normally be. Again, it's all about exaggeration and just trying to play with proportions a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. I think I've got it, and now I'm ready to jump into our animation panel and add some action. You know what, one other thing I wanted to do before I did that actually is to draw some action lines. So I'm going to take my pen tool, and I'll need to draw or add a blank empty layer to draw this on. And you should add at least 2 action lines, or action clouds we'll call them. So when I have my pen tool, I'm going to actually go to the ink pen, and I want my color to be black. And so maybe I'll add some like action clouds to like maybe around the bat or around his back foot. Maybe there'll be one like coming off around here, and it'll be kind of just like a little pointed cloud that kind of like brings us towards the foot. And then maybe there'll be another one. I could do one behind this foot, or again, I was thinking maybe another one like behind the bat or off his shoulder over here. And I kind of want those like rounded cloud-like shapes. And now I'm going to change my color to white and give those a fill. So I'll go OK, take my fill bucket, and I'll give these a fill. Now actually both of them are on the same layer. I kind of wanted them to be on different layers. So I'm just going to take my lasso tool here and go around this one and cut it. Command X, and I'm going to add a new layer, empty, and paste that onto its own layer. So, and I guess now that I look at it, I can play with like the positioning, like do I want this over here, or do I like it over here back where it's kind of like where his arm was turning from. You know, I kind of like it on that side. So now it's a little more balanced. There's like one on that side and one on the back, one on the front. All right, so let's jump to the animation panel now. So we're going to go animation, animation panel. You can add page animations if you want to get into things like that. You know, these are kind of cool that just add effects to all your different layers, right? But if we want to really get into customizing, we can choose the layer panel, and I can go through. And now I can see I have this top little cloud layer selected, and I can add some action to it. So I probably want to do something like a grow or a rise, something going vertically, because that's kind of the way that he's swinging. So I'm going to go like a rise here. For the middle one, it could rotate, other actions could happen to it. I don't know that I need necessarily anything else in the middle, but maybe an exit one, or maybe it fades out or shrinks or something like that, or it rises off. That's kind of, I'm thinking rise seems good for that one, right? So now if I play it here, I could just see how that kind of like goes. Now I can click on this one and I can go back to my animation panel here. Maybe I'll do something similar. Maybe this one will do more of a slide, like a horizontal, you know, maybe a fade, and then maybe at the end I'll do a rise, right? Or grow even. You can play with a lot of different combinations of these, but now here's kind of what my animation looks like. So let's keep going. I think this was an empty layer that I copied off of before. We'll do a little bit with the legs here, and I'm just going to go through and do all my pieces. Really, I have 7 total because I did 5 parts to the body and then I have the 2 clouds. So now I'm on the leg here. Let's see. It could be something horizontal. It makes more sense. The leg is going more horizontal. So maybe this horizontal one makes sense for that. See if you want to add something in the middle, some kind of shake. This marquee is kind of a fun one to play with. Maybe I'll do something with that in the middle. And then maybe at the end, you don't even have to do something for all 3, but yeah, maybe I'll just leave that as it is. Jump down to the other leg, go animation, animation panel, layer. This leg is a little more like kind of sturdy. It's in front. Maybe I'll have it rise or do something more in the vertical way because this one is more vertical rather than horizontal. So maybe horizontal doesn't quite make as much sense, but I don't know, actually. It looks like it kind of looks good, actually, when I think about the placement of that. The jiggle, marquee. I'm not going to use marquee again. Wave, rotate. Maybe I'll skip the middle on this one and just go to some kind of last effect here in the end. Or maybe I'll just leave it. You got a pixelate effect. I think I was saving that one for my or wipe. Let's see what that looks like. We can always test play from this button in the corner. All right, and so now you can see all little actions going on together with the legs and everything. And just a couple more to do because I do want to do something with this bat. But at this point, you guys are probably getting a feel for what we're actually trying to do. I definitely want some rotating movement with this one. So maybe I'll go vertical. Maybe they'll use the jiggle finally, the rotation. The wave kind of works, so maybe I'll go with wave here for that one. And maybe at the end, we'll do something like the vertical. And I'll close that out. But yeah, I'll keep following through and finish this all the way out. I don't know that I like the exit on the bat. So I might go back in my animation panel here and just take that one out. Any of these effects that you want to take out, you can just click the little X next to them. Or if you want to make them faster or slower, you have your speed adjustments here. You can have them repeat and do some different timing things here too, if you want to get into kind of tweaking these at all. I think the last one I was going to go for was maybe the helmet, but I'll do the numbers here. I know I wanted to add that pixelating effect somewhere. I feel like the numbers is a good spot to add the pixelating. So I'll have the numbers pixelate and maybe do one last final effect. So all my pieces have some kind of effect on them. Shrink, fade, sync. That kind of seems right, like his helmet kind of falls onto his head. And then maybe it rocks back and forth, or maybe it spins. That's kind of fun. And then, yeah, it's tough with the exits. I don't always like the exits because then they make your piece go away, and I kind of like the pieces staying and not disappearing at the end of the animation. So this is looking pretty good. I think I like how this has turned out. Of course, I could always keep playing and tweaking with different things, but now I'm going to go ahead to save, and I'm going to click save here. I want this to be a GIF because I just want this to keep repeat playing. I'm going to hit 2 times speed just because sometimes 1 time speed ends up a little laggy. The other thing I want to make sure I click is this loop animation button. That way my GIF just keeps repeating on loops. Um, and that should be good. Let's check this out. I'll go save. We'll call this Judge GIF. We'll export that. And then I will take a look at my downloads folder and just see how that turned out. Let's give it a quick preview play. And there it is. There's my Aaron Judge GIF, kind of pulling off the Troy Brown style that he likes to do with his illustrations and animations. And so there we go. We have a fun little GIF animation of a character that shows action or emotions. So I hope you guys have fun with creating your own and get into this project pronto.